Netflix's The Diplomat seems realistic as it follows some familiar political storylines, leading to questions about how much of the series is based on fact. The Diplomat stars Kerry Russell as Kate Weiler, the new ambassador to the United Kingdom who is dealing with an unhappy marriage with her husband, Hal Weiler, portrayed by Rufus Sewell. The show explores the difficulties of upkeeping relationships, whether romantic, like Kate's marriage, or the relationship between two countries. It showcases some very real topics between countries in the real world, causing it to feel authentic. Throughout the first 2 seasons of The Diplomat, Kate adjusts to her new position and the scrutiny of the spotlight, while being dragged into an international conspiracy. As a woman in a position of power, Kate puts up with a lot of sexism, which is one of the most realistic parts of the show as it's seen in society quite a lot. With the very real elements The Diplomat presents and its storylines that feel all too familiar, it's raised a lot of questions about how real it is. Netflix's The Diplomat is not based on a true story. The fictional story came out of conversations with real diplomats. While The Diplomat might seem real, mainly due to Russell's convincing acting, it's not based on a true story. Instead, the Netflix series is a fictionalized tale of a woman in politics and how she copes with her newfound power. However, the show does take a lot of inspiration from real-life events. The Diplomat's creator Deborah Kahn was inspired to create the Netflix series after meeting with US ambassadors while writing for the show Homeland. While Kahn was inspired by real-life people when creating the show, The Diplomat's main characters, Kate and Hal, are not based on real people. Kahn wanted to create a couple that works together to showcase how such an intense job can affect a relationship. Though Russell and Sewell make their characters and relationship so believable, it's easy to understand why there were questions about how fictional they are. The Diplomat still includes references to real-life political events. The show maintains realism through topical references. While the show is fiction, it includes many real-life references. One, in particular, occurs during The Diplomat Season 1, Episode 2, when the show references the killing of Qasem Soleimani. Soleimani was an Iranian military officer assassinated in 2020 by a United States drone attack as it was believed he had plans to attack the United States. The show has also referenced more recent events like the Russian-Ukraine war. These references are tied into The Diplomat to make the show seem more real and believable. Including real-life references blurs the line between fact and fiction, further drawing audiences into the story. How accurate is The Diplomat to the real world? Real ambassadors have pointed out The Diplomat's exaggerated take. Given that The Diplomat explores a unique world not often seen in other shows, it raises questions about how much the show sticks to reality. As is typically the case with fictional shows, The Diplomat seems to stretch the truth of what the real situation is like in order to serve the drama of the story. The Guardian spoke to several real-life ambassadors and diplomats about their take on the series and how accurate it is. In many cases, those asked about the portrayal of their world in The Diplomat admitted that there is not a lot of accuracy in the political thriller series. An unnamed British diplomat admitted that they found the show's portrayal of Kate's interaction with the British leaders to be largely a fiction, sharing. Other people had some humorous things to point out about The Diplomat compared to the real world, as American diplomat Jenna Ben-Yehuda suggested the people on the show are much more attractive than the real people in the profession. However, there are some who addressed the inaccuracies of the show more seriously. Brett Bruin, director of global engagement for the Obama White House, was dismayed to see the show embrace the espionage angle instead of portraying the real world of diplomats. However, there are still details in The Diplomat that others were impressed by. In many of the sets on the show, the furniture is made by the American brand, Drexel, which is known for furnishing the homes of American diplomats in foreign countries. Overall, those looking for a detailed exploration of what it is really like to be a diplomat should seek other media, as The Diplomat simply grounds itself in a real-world setting to tell its own story.